The procrastination confrontation. Oops, I did it again. It was the night before my first day of junior year, and I had yet to start my summer assignment, which was due in 7 hours. I sat in my basement doing everything but my homework. In front of me was a YouTube tab on my computer screen, and I had surrounded myself with snacks and an assortment of full, empty, and partially consumed Mountain Dew cans. It wasn't until 11 p.m. that I first realized how stupid it was for me to wait this long to start my work when I had the entire summer to complete it. I was so frustrated by my incoherence that I started another YouTube video to calm me down. The next time I checked the clock, another hour had passed. Already feeling a level of drowsiness, I reluctantly took out my pencil and got to work. At around 12:30 a.m. that night, something strange happened. I turned around to take a leak, and after taking a step, I thought I had seen something next to the couch out of the corner of my eye. Due to my sleepiness, my reaction was slightly delayed, and by the time I looked to get a better view of what I saw, it was gone. I then proceeded to the bathroom and urinated. While doing so, I was silently mourning the fact that I was likely losing my mind and hallucinating. Yet reinvigorated by my much-needed restroom relief, I marched back to my desk, ready to get my homework over and done with. That's when I saw it. In the middle of the floor, it sat proudly, not even trying to hide anymore. I was mortified, yet also thankful that I had just come from the bathroom, because otherwise my underpants would have taken the role of the toilet right then and there. Looking before me was perhaps the largest gray squirrel in North America. I've never been a very confrontational person, so I simply rubbed my eyes and convinced myself to ignore the threat and return to my desk. As I arrived at my desk, the squirrel went behind the couch. I figured I didn't need to mess with it as long as it wasn't messing with me. 2 hours passed and I was almost done with my assignment. I let out a satisfied belch in celebration of my discipline and heard what sounded like a bark sound as well. Now I was very confused, to say the very least. I didn't know if that bark sound came from my body or if it was a figment of my imagination. It certainly couldn't have been the squirrel, I thought, but then the barking continued. I turned around only to see that it was the squirrel and that it was looking me dead in the eyes. Mortified, I stood up and the squirrel began to approach me. In my horror, I impulsively went against my morals by throwing my pencil at the squirrel. Luckily for the squirrel, I missed. By a lot. My pencil was now behind the couch, and the squirrel followed it back there. I decided to get back to work since I was so close to finishing my assignment. It was then that I realized that I didn't have a single backup pencil. The squirrel had my only pencil with it behind the couch. I had only one hope, and that was to defeat the squirrel and get my pencil. With newfound determination, I sprinted for the back door and opened that sucker up. Now all I had to do was chase the squirrel outside. I assumed my taekwondo fighting stance and attempted to approach the squirrel again. I clearly intimidated the squirrel because it came out from behind the couch. From there, I tried with no avail to chase it outside. I opened a peanut butter jar and put it outside and continued the chase. I still couldn't get the squirrel outside. My theory was that this was because my basement was too open of a space and it's hard to funnel it outside. So I grabbed the corral that we use for the dogs from outside and brought it in. I used it to block off the exits that I could, aside from the back door. After a few minutes of chasing a barking squirrel, victory was mine. I had successfully chased it outside. After getting my pencil from behind the couch, I returned to my desk feeling invincible. I completed my homework with sang-froid and slept peacefully that night. The next morning in class, I was reminded that not only did we have a homework assignment to complete, but we also had a test to study for. And that's how I failed my first test of the year.